Good afternoon, losers, and welcome back to part 2 of Mashing Miku with the Eeveelutions. In the first part, I did Eevee, Glaceon, and Leafeon, and in the second part, I'm doing our Generation 1 Eeveelutions, being Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. And like I said in my previous video, I already sketched out these designs in my sketchbook, so honestly putting them, into my drawing program, it was pretty straightforward, but it still took some time. I easily have like 4 hours worth of drawing footage, and I did have a little bit of a hard time with some of the designs, but you will see that. I will explain it a little bit. And hey, I mean, at least you guys don't have to watch those 4 hours of recordings. It's probably going to be like, what, a 20-minute video? I mean, I don't know just yet because I'm just starting to edit, but that doesn't matter right now. What does matter is that we are going to move on to the first evolution of today's video, and that being Vaporeon. So starting off with Vaporeon, it makes me just a little bit nervous, if I'm honest, because of Vaporeon's little history on the internet, as you can say. But anyways, moving on to her design, which is the actual, important part of this section, I was inspired simply by like a beachy aesthetic with like a little hint of sea creature, I guess, which caused her to have webbed fingers. It wasn't in my original design in my sketchbook, but I kind of just did it when I was sketching her because I just thought it would be something interesting. I mean, I honestly wanted to lean a little bit more into the sea creature design choices, but I'm honestly happy I didn't. And who knows, maybe the webbing on her fingers is just like an aesthetic choice, because I think you can get like those types of prosthetics or something, and maybe she actually isn't, part sea creature. But you never know, I guess. I mean, this is all fantasy anyways, so yeah. Well, even though I had a very clear design on paper, putting it into like my drawing program was a little bit harder than I thought. Through the whole process of this drawing, there was always just something not sitting right with me. And after sending my sketch to my friends and trying like slightly different variants of her bathing suit and actually just walking away from the drawing for like a day, I figured out that she just needs a necklace, even though I feel like that probably wouldn't work too well with her like swimming and stuff. But honestly, going back to that sea creature idea, I did kind of want to try the idea of giving her like fish gills, but I wound up not even trying that. It was just like an idea I had in my head until my friend was like, "How about a pearl necklace?" Honestly, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure, that could work." Well, looking at this drawing now, and while I'm, recording and getting my scripts all together, I'm happy with the result. Even though she did cause me just like a little bit of trouble. I mean, definitely though, it was not awful. Like, I have drawings where they cause me a little bit of trouble and then they keep causing me trouble and then I just completely scrap the idea, or I scrap the video, because that did happen in a recent video. I had a completely different idea and I wound up scrapping it because my drawings were not working. But that's not important right now, right? A last minute add-on to her design is the two braids on each side of her twin ponytails, and I thought that honestly leveled up the design a little bit, and it gave a little reference to the added details that go like down Vaporeon's back and onto the tail, if you know what I mean. Alongside the obvious fins on her head that are now part of a headset, which I think honestly isn't maybe the best idea if Vaporeon is swimming and stuff, but like I said, this is all fantasy, right? Well, I also gave Vaporeon's little neck frill detail to the top of her swimsuit. I did try a little bit to show the neck frill in another way, which like just caused me to just keep on switching the positions of the frill on her outfit, and then it turned from simply not liking the placement to her just looking like a clown, because I thought it was a good idea to try actually putting it on her neck, which was not the best decision. That's why I got rid of it. And I feel like the color placements went smoothly. And I like how I placed just like a little hint of warm colors on this design with that like rusty orange color. And if you really want to push it, I guess like pink as well. But I don't even know what I see pink as, because in a way, I mean, like certain pinks, you know, you got like warm pinks and cool pinks. So I don't really know if I should consider it a warm or a cool color, but anyways, like always, I added the Pokedex number somewhere on her design to be just like Miku, having that one on her arm. And I think due to how I drew her hair and added those little braid pieces, I think in her silhouette it makes her hair kind of look like tentacles, which, you know, calls back to that sea creature idea, which I actually kind of like. It gives her like a slightly unique silhouette, I think. I mean, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. There's of course probably more I could have done with this design. Honestly, probably more that I could have done with all of the designs, but yeah, maybe that's gonna be a topic for another video. And with that, I present to you Hatsune Mikaporeon, which is kind of a mouthful, but it's the best I can do for the name. She started off kind of rough, and um, that kind of sucked, but at least I was able to pull it together in the end. And I adore her design, and I really hope you do too. And I also hope I don't get any weird comments. I don't know. The biggest thing with designing Vaporeon is my worry about public reaction to it. So I'm not gonna try to think about that much. But anyways, out of all of these designs today, I definitely feel like she's the most Miku-like, and I can totally imagine a figure of her sitting on my shelf. So on to the rock star of this group, we have Jolteon, and I say rock star because I literally had the rock star aesthetic in my mind when I was sketching her out, and I think out of all of these, she's like a direct copy and paste from my sketchbook to my drawing program, with the addition of just like little band-aid accessories on her arms, because I was thinking, of course, she's always tumbling around and getting hurt on stage like literally every music artist ever, I think. And now thinking of it, maybe I should have also given her knee pads, or maybe even ripped pieces in her pants to kind of simulate her falling or sliding around a lot. I think who is it? I think Billie Eilish, I believe, wears knee pads on stage, I think. I don't know. I could be misremembering that, but I'd imagine she would have a very electric personality, and that wasn't supposed to be a joke. But anyways, this might just be due to me having like a whole star phase right now, but I love that I added stars like literally everywhere to her design, and I made her hair accessory star shaped. I just thought that would look really cool, and like I said, it's probably because I'm on a whole star kick right now. I mean, even the pants that she's wearing reminds me of a pair of pants I've painted recently. And by painted, I mean I just stamped stars all over the pants, and they're like my favorite piece of clothing ever. I don't know, maybe one day I'll make a video about me like customizing my clothes. I feel like that would be really fun, but I feel like drawing her came to me pretty fast, and drawing her pose was actually surprisingly easy. I'm normally not too great with posing and like drawing hands and stuff, but I think I've improved just a little bit. Jolteon was probably the easiest to draw, and I had little to no problem with the whole process. However, I guess this goes for her design specific. I do kind of wish I added more yellow into the design, but I'm not totally mad at my choices for color placement. I mean, I don't really know. I feel like Jolteon's more is like more yellow than anything, and I think like the primary colors of this drawing is like black and white. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but I did take the very smallest hint of purple from Jolteon's ears and eyes and used it as like an accent color, specifically on the band-aids. I think a little bit in the eyes too, if I'm not mistaken. And into like that weird, like not weird, but like that little undershirt piece that I did. I think I also did put it on for her numbers, which was pretty smart, I think. I mean, I got to be smart once in a while, right? And like I said, she has a strong Miku vibe, but something is still a little off. I honestly kind of wish I I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, it was kind of hard to not plan these designs with ears and tails instead. So I just tried to give hints or illusions of them having those things, like for example, Vaporeon's fins on her head and Eevee's little clip-on tail piece. I don't really know. I do wish I tried going down that route, I guess, but you know, at the end of the day, it's not too much of a problem. I mean, I can always redraw designs in the future and stuff if I really want to drag this series out. Even though the design is very sharp as it is, I do kind of wish I did more like hard sharp shapes. That was a mouthful. Hard sharp shapes. Why did I write that? But anyways, I mean, in the bottom of the skirt specifically, it just looks a little too fluffy in my opinion. When I was looking at Jolteon, it does seem like the fur is way more jagged, and it looks like Jolteon was rubbed with a balloon. You know, like when you rub your head with a balloon and your hair sticks up. Yeah, that's what it looks like, which I think was possibly the idea to get from Jolteon. But maybe if I ever draw these designs again, I can make like the underskirt layer less fluffy looking and more sharp and torn up. Like, I don't know. I'll maybe think of something in the future. With that, we now have Hatsune Joltika. Joltika? I don't know how to pronounce anything. I'm sorry. I honestly like that I changed the name though, because originally when I was writing it in my sketchbook, it was something completely different and I felt like it sounded really bad. So I'm not even gonna tell you what it was. So I'm happy I at least made some name change whenever I was naming the file. And I think she's super cute. And in my opinion, this is one design that I think I might draw more of in the future because I just love, I don't know, I just love the energy that I put into it probably. So right off the bat, I had a hard time posing Flareon. I felt like what I was drawing wasn't looking good and I was having a really weird time with the proportions of this design, and maybe it was just like a little bit of burnout, or something, but like she just wasn't working with me. My biggest problem with this design is the hair, and even now I still really don't like it, and that really sucks. It really does suck because I always want my designs to be perfect or as close to perfect as I can get. Just simple, just something I would like, honestly. I think that's where that one ends. So this section might be just a little bit shorter, but it's whatever, you know. Flareon was inspired by musical festival clothing. Even though they're a fire type Pokemon, they are extremely fluffy looking, at least in my opinion. So I gave her fur on her skirt, boots, and around her shoulders. And realistically, I guess this would probably be like absolutely awful at an outdoor venue during like warmer seasons, but I think it's safe to say she would probably prefer fashion over function, which is something I kind of live by, unfortunately. So that leads to me being really cold in the winter and really hot in the summer. But anyways, I didn't have a hard time drawing her outfit, so that's good. But I did have a very hard time placing color on said outfit, and I'm very much still not completely happy with where the colors are. And it sucks because I really limited myself in the color selection. I feel like I did that with every single design, but I just think maybe the colors were not the best to choose from, or maybe I was just having like an off day. But I mean, when it comes to the colors of Flareon, I kind of prefer the orange and like the light blonde color version of Flareon that you see in like cards and stuff in the games, I think. And I much prefer that color scheme more than like the bright red and yellow, which, if I'm not mistaken, was in like the anime. I don't really know. I never really watched like the anime or even played the games. I'm just going based off of what I've seen when I looked up these Pokemon and stuff, and of course my knowledge from the cards and stuff, because I'm a big collector. Um, because of the hairstyle I went with, it felt like I needed to add Miku's like normal greenish blue hair color, but that didn't work out. So then I tried to stick with the blonde color with the little pieces of blue in it, and with that decision, it made me change the fur color to orange. Um, and I feel like, I guess, like, I guess it's fine, but unfortunately, this might be my least favorite design. And now looking at her design and giving her a darker skin tone, I want to change the hair again to like these like little hair poofs, but I honestly don't even feel like bothering with this drawing anymore. And it sucks. It really does suck. And I feel like I'm not speaking on this design as much as I would have wanted to, but I think it's literally just because I do not like this design. I feel like I could have done better with it. I think what's dragging it down the most is the hair. I don't think I've ever been this negative about a Miku design up until now. And I know, I just wish some things were different. Maybe I could redraw it again in the future, but I really don't see myself drawing this design again. I just felt like it had a lot of potential and it didn't really work out in the end. And speaking of the hair, I present to you Hatsune Flareoki. And like I said before, I was bothered by the hair, and so that caused me to slightly alter her hairstyle by literally copy and pasting her single ponytail into and flipping it to make it like Miku's classic twin ponytails. And it's a little bit better, but I'm still not 100% happy with it. And yeah, I'm sorry to leave off on this really sad note for this design, but you know, we can't win them all, right? So here are all the Generation 1 Eeveelution Mikus all lined up, and at the end of the day, I like them for the most part. I really only have big problems with Flareoki because, again, like I said, I'm just not really vibing with this design in general. And I now have gotten 6 out of 9 Eeveelutions done, and I'm honestly quite excited to get this whole thing wrapped up with the last 3 in the next video. Whenever that will be, I'll probably put some videos in between it, some videos or some reels or something, just so the people that are watching my other content and are not very interested. I'm sorry, I just hit my mic, that was not great. But anyways, to those who are not that interested in this series, I still want to give you just a little bit of something, especially now that I have 100 subscribers, which is really crazy. I did not think I would get this far, and I want to say thank you, and I can't wait to see how we do in the future. You know, I'm getting a little fan base, that's kind of exciting. But hey, I really hope you enjoyed this video, even though towards the end I feel like I was just like a little bit of a Debbie Downer, but like I said, you really can't win them all. And just a small reminder that every Miku is canon, even though recently I've been getting TikToks about how no Miku is canon because technically Miku doesn't have a canon or whatever, but I really don't care. This is my 3rd time saying this, so I'm not going to change it. But anyways, I'll see you next time.